the 3 lessons we learned.
You're talking really, really slow. Maybe you can get through first.
Apparently I'm thinking about it too much.
Try again.
The 3 lessons we learned from our day with the Amish.
Here we go.
Hi, we're the Care Kids.
Our parents are crazy. They want to take us on a year-long trip.
They call it an empathy expedition.
We're traveling the states to discover what makes us united.
50 states in 52 weeks.
And I saw you, cause I wanna be like the wind. I wanna run with you. Oh, we can be wolves, howling at the great white moon. I wanna be by your side when we light up the sky for the world to see. Run, 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 run with me.
We should back up. We have a friend who contacted us and told us that she had cousins who were Amish. Her dad was Amish growing up, and then he decided to become English. So Amish people call non-Amish English, and he decided to leave the Amish lifestyle and raise his family in a different way. They get baptized at the age of 18, and he never joined the Amish church. He was never baptized, and he never, as they said, he never took on those covenants, and so he was never shunned. So they could come and go as family members and hang out with them and enjoy time with them as family members.
Things to note: Amish and Mennonite both stem from the Anabaptist movement, which was part of the radical Reformation from the Roman Catholic Church in the mid-1500s. They were part of the Catholic Church, then they broke off from the Catholic Church, and then the Amish and Mennonites were kind of break-offs from each other too. So they were both part of the Anabaptist movement, and then they broke off, and they both believe kind of the same thing, but they interpret the doctrine a little bit differently.
Not as fun.
It's not as fun. It's not as fun.
The first misconception that was cleared up after spending some time with them is that they're all super quiet. And they talk really just politely and refined and very quiet. They're not like that at all. They're just totally normal. They're totally normal. Their mom was so just jovial, and she had the funniest sense of humor. She and her husband were going on this anniversary trip in just a couple of days after we were with them up to the sand dunes in Michigan with 20 other couples that had all been married for 30 years that were all going together on this trip, and she's just laughing about it. She's like, aren't we gonna look hilarious out there? We'll have our little ribbons flying in the wind.
Running down the
Running
sand
down
dunes.
the sand dunes. Totally blew my perception of Amish, just mannerisms, I guess you could say, out of the water. They're just normal. They just laugh and talk and have great senses of humor.
These are bonnets, the black ones. Usually for church on Sunday, everybody wears them on church. But then our school kids have to wear them to go to school.
Okay.
And sometimes, depending on what the weather is, I wear one when I go to town, and sometimes...
For school, they have to wear the black ones, or they?
Well, the black ones are a covering for our white ones. The white ones are over here. And the white ones they're supposed to wear all the time when they go away.
I noticed that he's wearing a cap. Do the boys wear?
They're supposed to caps or hats.
Hats, okay.
Usually they want to be cool, and then they wear the caps.
Oh, okay.
He doesn't like wearing a hat. Right?
So you're basically kind of like an Amish Walmart.
Yeah.
For clothes, anyway.
The Amish do not like to be gawked at, but do not mind sharing information about their life, culture, or religion when coming from a genuine place of interest. They also will not pose for photos because they consider posing for photos to be vain. The adults, because they have been baptized, do not wish to be photographed, although if you ask the parents first, they will often allow you to photograph their children who have not been baptized.
What was your name again?
Byron.
Byron.
It's
Myron,
because a
I'm
lot
sorry,
of, like,
Myron.
Misconception number 2. Some people think that they can't use any technology, and they are actually very thoughtful about the types of technology that they use. For example, some of them have phones. Susie that we shadowed, they have a telephone that's out in a different part of the yard. It's actually got a little booth. It's got its own little house, and that's the telephone that they use for their business, and the neighbors all use if they need to make a phone call, or if there's an emergency, if there's something like that. But they don't have a phone in their pocket next to them all the time, or a phone in their house next to them all the time, because they want to be strategic about the times that they're using that technology.
Have you ever had the desire to leave the Amish community and have some of the modern conveniences, or is it not even very alluring to you?
Not really.
Not really?
Because, I guess it's because I know there's so many more temptations out there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I feel okay.
That's
and I
true.
think it's because I have a family.
Sure.
And when I was 16, I thought, that'd be cool.
When you were 16,
Yeah,
you did
yeah.
have a time when you thought it might be best to leave?
Yeah.
Sure.
No, but still, it wasn't. Once I had a boyfriend, we wanted to get married, so that wasn't. It wasn't, and we never talked about even going English.
Uh-huh,
I guess it was because our mom and dad were Amish, and that's why we felt that we should be Amish.
Their homes actually they are lit with something besides a candle. I assume they probably just had candlelight, but they have, I think they're propane lit little lanterns that are on the ceiling of their rooms, and so they can light those up, and they have light in the evenings. As we drove up, so adorable. The kids were driving their own little horse-driven buggy. We were just dying laughing. It was so cute.
And it was a little one. It was
miniature
and it had a miniature
horses.
horse, and it had a miniature carriage. So the kids were comfortable driving it because they were driving that was their school bus. They were driving to and from school.
They speak Pennsylvania Dutch. Have you guys heard of that? It's not a written language. You'll hear this as you're out and about. It's comprised mostly from a Low German mixed with some English.
So it's like 9 Speckendie.
Hogli? That's offensive to all Germans.
9 Speckendie Volkswagen.
Yeah, we'll just make AC be quiet in public. So it doesn't offend anyone.
Misconception number 3.
So after spending some time with them, it just becomes very apparent that they want to live like that. No one's forcing them to. They enjoy being Amish. They enjoy being different from the English. They enjoy choosing that as their way to focus their lives on things that they think are really important. There's a lot of love in their community. They are very supportive of one another as far as we could tell.
Here's some more that Nady. Okay, he said he wants us to show you the shop.
Okay, sounds good. They support each other as family members and as a community. They invited us to come to this activity with them where they were raising a bunch of money for their son's school, and it was just so fun. There were hundreds and hundreds of other Amish families there, and you just feel right at home immediately, though. They're all just friendly and kind and
very accepting.
We're not experts by any means on the Amish community or the Amish faith, but we just wanted to share our experience with them and just how it really, I think for me especially, the thing that I've thought about for days and days since we've been with them is, just how much you can really admire someone for choosing something that they feel leads them to good, even if it's something that you would never choose, and even if it's something that you can't even really understand.
If our objective with this journey is to discover what makes us united, I think one of the lessons that we can learn from the Amish is respecting other people's choices, whether we agree with those choices or whether we don't agree with those choices, but respecting them and listening to them.